Hi, I'm Mary McGloin. I am one of the creators of Tech Buddies. I play Cass, and I'm here with Annie. Wait, I don't know how to say your last name. Hartkemeyer? Annie
Hartkemeyer,
Hartkemeyer, who plays Bailey,
yeah.
and I'll let her introduce herself as well.
Hi guys, I'm Annie Hartkemeyer. I play Bailey in Tech Buddies, and it's good to be here with you. It's great to see Mary.
So the first question is, what drew you to this project on the role of Bailey?
Well, the role is something that I'm all too familiar with. I think this kind of character is somebody that feels like one of those New York characters that everybody knows one of and / has been at some point in their life, where you're just like the kind of landmark moment where you're like getting thrown out of an apartment or realizing like that a living situation or like a job situation is not panning out in the way that you need it to. It's like the stakes feel higher here in New York. So you're like, yeah, just it's familiar territory, shall we say. And I think also kind of Bailey's role in this strange world of tech people that she's walking into is interesting. And it's kind of the cool thing about New York is that you could end up working in any environment and just kind of becoming privy to this whole new world of things that you don't know anything about, and meeting like weird tech bros that are like people you've only like read about or like sort of made fun of, like when you walk past like people, like, you know, you're just like, oh, those people. And then you're like suddenly in a job interview with them, and it's yeah, it feels familiar and fun. And also I love the lens that Mary, you know, was looking through when she wrote this project, which is one of personal experience and this new perspective on sort of a thing that's been portrayed a lot, but not from this female femme lens. So
Thanks for saying that. I really did want. I wanted it. I mean, I wanted it to be fun and funny and people to recognize the characters, but I also did want everyone to seem real and 3D and not just a stereotype of something. And also, like, I don't think I've ever seen the female's perspective of it. Even with Silicon Valley, I don't think they ever captured how it was like to be a woman working in the startup environment. So,
right. And it is something that, like, I know so many women that do work in that environment, or that work in like more traditionally male dominated fields, and they do have, like, we've talked about this many times, and obviously it's portrayed in the show, but like it seems like it's a cliche, but it's real life. Like it seems like, oh my god, that's just egregious. And it's like, no, like Mary has actually like experienced this, and like people have actually, you know, it's not
yeah. No, when Amanda and I wrote it, like, she had worked at a startup as an office manager. Bailey is based on her experiences, and then Cass is based on mine, working as a QA engineer. And so it's it's definitely based in reality. I mean, it's not like truth verbatim, like, but it's
sure.
But yeah, okay,
Inspired by true events.
exactly. So, what sort of person do you think will love this show? Like, who should watch Tech Buddies?
New Yorkers. It's like one of those shows that like I hate to like just run through a list of similar shows, but I mean, it's like some of my favorite shows are like Flight of the Conchords and Broad City and 30 Rock, and those are all shows that have all those like nuanced things about New York that you're just looking at it as a New Yorker, like, yeah, oh, thank you for getting that, like for capturing that, like, you know, and I think it's kind of similar in that it's workplace, like it's experiences that maybe young professionals have. I think people of the tech generations that are watching all of this evolution play out of like, yeah, there's like a virtual dating app, like these kinds of things that everybody deals with on a daily basis, will relate to. I think like, yeah, I don't know, there's a range of characters in here. But I think like I could see female young professionals really connecting to your character, especially those that work in maybe finance or tech or any kind of field like that, or people younger might. I think it could appeal to a range, but I think that kind of like New York sector of people will get it.
All right. Yeah, I think anyone who works in tech would definitely have
Yeah.
a relation to it. I mean, it's funny because most of my tech, well, I guess I can't say that anymore. Half my years in tech and half my years in tech are in New York and California. So
Yeah.
I could see the California tech world getting this, maybe even more than New York.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there's a lot of broad things that could, I mean, like a lot of this could apply across like many fields, not
Oh
just
yeah,
tech.
we like when Amanda and I were still working together on it. We came up with like working women between the ages of 20s and in the working range, like 20s and 50s, where you're still working, and especially in any male dominated field, because even I had a producer named Lindsay who was like, no, this reminds me of being in film as a woman, because there's usually all men, which is also why I decided to try to do the all female crew for this.
Yeah. Which I loved, by the way. I was like, I thought that was really cool, like that you did that. And it was such a beautiful environment on set. I think it was just like Noah, like that was like the
Oh yeah, I
only
did have Noah was the one guy.
precious Noah. Yeah.
And then
And then,
Gabrielle's husband came to help out one day when we didn't have another PA. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was really cool that you did that. I thought that was like a legit, like a solid choice, like to,
Yeah. I don't know if I could do it again with moving forward, but it was a good thing to do for this. Like I'm gonna need a lot more support in the going forward to do this as a half-hour television show. So hopefully, I can pull in as many people who have worked on it before as possible, but also like,
yeah.
um, so what sort of person do you think would love or relate to Bailey?
Okay, this one's a little easier for me to answer because that was my experience, was Bailey. And this person can relate. No, like, I mean, so many people, yeah, God, I mean, I moved to New York when I was 19, and I just like hustled my way through so many jobs. We all have. I mean, it's like the universal New York experience. So anyone who has been in those shoes where you're like, fuck, I just need like, I don't care what it is. Like, please, like, gods of like New York, like just send me something. I don't even care. Like, like so many of us have been in that boat. So who can relate to Bailey? Pretty much anyone who's moved to New York without like a trust fund, or even if you have. I mean, there's still those moments where you're like, not even New York. I don't only want to like say that this is a New York experience, because like so many people have had.
I mean, I think it's anybody moving to a big city.
Yeah, anybody moving to a big city or like anywhere where they're like struggling to like make ends meet, like at all, and encountering strange coworkers that you're like, oh, this is this person might become a pain in the ass to deal with, but yet it is my job to deal with them. And that's a universal experience right there. And then I think, you know, how we got glimpses of this in the first episodes, but of course more will come of glimpsing and like how do relationships start at work, like friendships, and like how do you is it possible to have a close female friendship at work? Is it close to, like, is it possible to have a close friendship at all at work? And how does that evolve, and how does that impact your other relationships with colleagues / friends, and where are those lines? I think it's very universal. But as far as Bailey goes, I think she's fun because she's kind of like a grounded kind of, I don't know about grounded, I don't know if that's the right word. She's got less disposable income than everybody else, and therefore kind of has a little bit more grit, but is just doing her best to try to figure out how to deal with everything and that sort of bewilderment. And
I kind of think of Bailey as the window into the world of tech from a person that isn't in tech.
yes,
Like, it's the what it's like to come into a world you haven't been in before and suddenly be like, okay, now I have to deal with all of this, and I'm not sure of my footing here, if I want to be here, but I need to be here because I need to make some money.
yeah.
So I kind of look at her as like, how is the trajectory gonna suck her in to the world?
Yeah.
And
And
then
in that way, like, it feels like a lot of us that don't work in tech, like you said, because especially now, as we're all tethered to tech devices, literally to do anything at all. We already were before this pandemic, but now it's just like we are tethered to these phones. You know me, Mary, sometimes it's hard to get a hold of me.
yeah,
And like nowadays, nowadays I'm just like, oh damn, I need the phone, like, because I don't like having my phone around me. I'm like, I mean, honestly, I'm like a granny, like a grandma millennial. I'm like not a real millennial. I don't use dating apps. I don't use Instagram. I like barely even check my email. Like, bless anyone who's ever dealt with me in that. I'm getting better, but probably because of the pandemic, because I have to have it around me all the time now. And so we are all now more tech aware than we used to be. But I mean, yeah, like you said, like watching these documentaries, reading in the New Yorker, reading about things that are happening in tech, it's like, wow, that's a whole world that we all like knew about, but now we're just like extra enmeshed in this world now. And so I think in that way, like Bailey's like kind of she like represents a lot, most of the population that do not work in tech, but need it and like rely on it, like heavily right now, and are like, well, we don't know how we feel about this world, but yet we're in it, whether we want to be or not, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting in the trajectory I have planned that goes on for the show. Like,
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to give anything away because hopefully people will want to watch more of this and we'll get funded and be able to do the full out series. But yeah, everyone's gonna go through a little journey in their relationship to the tech world.
Yes.
So how is Bailey like you, and how is she different from you?
I think Bailey is more ballsy than Annie, and more, maybe a little bit more uh, ooh, this feels very revealing. All the Scorpio in me is like, don't give anything away. No, but I just like, no, I think where we're similar is, like I said, that kind of like survivalist thing of like, we need to be here. It's like, so what do we need to do to be able to stay here? And like kind of like the grit of that. But I think that I'm a little bit more maybe soft than Bailey, like in my demeanor or my, you know, I come from the Midwest, so I'm generally friendly until I'm not.
You seem to me more less cynical, more
Yes,
positive, more
I'm a pretty hopeful person.
yeah. And I think
Yeah,
Bailey can definitely can go a little dark with her humor of like, I hate everyone. It's like,
she's a little more emo than I am in general, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Although who knows, maybe post-COVID Annie will be a little more emo. No, I still have a great deal of hope. Yeah, but I think Bailey is, yeah, darker is a good word. But I think she's still like, she's hopeful in the sense that like she like believes in her ability to like get a job and like make friendships and not fuck everything up, even though she's
Yeah.
like kind of on the verge of doing that like constantly, just but she's yeah, more cynical for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Which is fun.
at least it starts out that way. She's not gonna. We'll see where she goes.
Bailey has a journey. Come on, this is just point A
I'll
out
have
of,
a journey. I'll have a journey, and
yeah.
yeah. Um. All right. So, what do you love about Bailey, or what do you dislike about Bailey? I don't want to say hate, but
Oh yeah, I could never hate anything about any character
yeah.
or any person really. I mean, um, uh, what do I love about her? I love her. I think I love her cynicism, probably because that's something that I don't have, and I always think it's like kind of cool when people have that.
She definitely has a sarcastic bite that's fun.
Yeah,
Like
that's right. It's
that
kind of hot when people are like
sharp
kind of
wit of that.
sassy and dark. Yeah, yeah. I think when I meet people or see people that have that quality, I always like think they're really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of like am intrigued about like what they would say about certain things and kind of want to hear like what their, yeah, like what their 2 cents are, because um yeah, and it's fun, and I love that scene where we're connecting about sort of like how we hate everyone, like at the desk there, like just kind of, not that we hate everyone, but she's not like a people pleaser, which
Yeah.
I like about her.
It's an admirable thing. She's not afraid to be disliked.
Yes, which is cool, like in general, I think too, for anyone, but especially like just coming into a new job as like a young woman or whatever, youngish woman, I guess, to just be like, you don't need to like me. I'm just like here to do my job, you know? And it's like, and yeah, I don't dislike anything about her apart from maybe like, no, I think she seems like a cool person to hang out with, like
Yeah.
in general. And
I think so too.
yeah, I would have a drink with Bailey, like no doubt. If I was friends with Bailey, I might be a little worried about her like ability to like keep an apartment or a job or
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Like,
That,
yeah, we all have those friends. I'm sure I've been that friend to people before where they're like, Annie, like, is it be all right? Like, but I think
In my early days in San Francisco, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make rent. I need 3 more days of work.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But no, I think it's the kind of realness of her. I is probably what I like the most.
cool. Um, did you have a favorite moment from the show or what we shot?
I loved shooting that interview. That was really fun for me. I thought that was a well written scene, and I loved the integration of the cast the, into the storyline.
Yeah, I forgot that even was like that was not in the plan.
I know, it just fit so seamlessly. It was beautiful. The scratching under the cast was really, really fun. What else? I liked, even though it was just a short moment, I liked in the back, like in the moment when I came in at the end and told everybody about the meeting that was coming up. Just because, like, you know, I wanted to like be in that room because it seemed like a fun room to be in with all the shenanigans going down back there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think the moment where you and I first connected, about the VD Me poster, like, and yeah, I really like look forward to shooting more of the Cass Bailey scenes because that was like the only one that we got to shoot. I think.
I know,
Right?
it was frustrating. Like, it was frustrating. We like for those watching, we ran out of time while shooting, so there's an entire section of the third episode that's not shot. There's a scene in the first episode that's not shot.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in the third episode that's missing is a lot of scenes. There's another scene with Cass and Bailey in the kitchen, with Cass and Bailey and Carl in the kitchen, with Alvin kind of shyly going to Bailey to tell her that it's drink at your desk Friday. That's why they all have the beer. And so, yeah.
I know. I was really bummed that we didn't get to shoot more of that episode because there was so many fun moments in there.
Yeah. This is another reason I'm like, no, we gotta go back and now shoot the half-hour pilot. Cause like everything that was in what we were gonna shoot is in the half-hour pilot.
Yeah.
But now there's more stuff in it. So there's more of you and I. More backstory of how Cass ends up there, and then I think it's more solidified. It's got more heart. Like, I know people had commented like this is really funny and sharp, but you need more heart. And I'm like, I got more heart in here. So
yeah, I mean, but without it doesn't. But what does heart mean? Like, does that mean it needs the like sentimentality, or does that mean like, what do people mean when they say that?
You know,
like more.
I take it to mean as something more to like connect with, that isn't just laughing at something, like something more to dig in and really feel for that character. Like,
okay.
Because when we see them only at work and we don't see them outside of work, it's harder to get a sense of the contrast of who these people are. Because like people have different personalities and different places they go. At least this is how I was taking this. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could be just talking out my butt right now about that.
No, that's one of those things that I like wonder. I mean, it's like a thing that it's like when you're working with a director and they tell you like make it bigger or like raise the stakes, and it's like one of those things that you're like, it's like the person saying it has a very specific thing in mind, but then they say something that you're like may or may not be able to do something with, and it's like, cool, got it, but like what do you mean? But I see, like, I think that you're right, like the kinds of human connections like that that is probably what they mean. Like more of you, like what is
Well,
Cass doing? She's going home or on
yeah.
the subway or on the street. Like what is she?
Well, I mean, the fact that Bailey comes to this job having been kicked out of her apartment, and her cat
Right.
is trapped in her old apartment with her old
It's
roommate.
just gutting, just
And it's like,
heart wrenching.
some people were like, how is she a cat owner and she just leaves her cat? I'm like, she doesn't leave her cat. Her roommate takes her cat and won't let her have it back. She's got to go. She got to get her cat at some point. That's
She
hard.
does.
That's some
She
hard,
does.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting concept, I guess. that well, I want to pivot the questions now, and this is more specifically about you, Annie, which is how did you get into acting, or what made you want to be an actor?
Gosh, I like there's so many moments, but I think like whenever it was that I realized that you could just not have to be in your own reality, but could be in someone else's reality for a while was like a huge revelation. And it made it, because I had a huge fear of being seen, like being a huge fear of like being on a stage was like just like not appealing. It was like actually just like I remember I had to like read, as a first grader, like read some things off of a sheet once, and I was like thought I was going to die. And even like having to speak my name in a room or something like that was like very just the end of the world. But then realizing that like you could do those things, but like almost with an alter ego, like being somebody else, was like, it felt like a superpower. It felt like, oh my God, like all these things that are hard for Annie are not hard for like such and such character. And I could kind of play out these things that were struggles, and they were no longer hard once under the guise of somebody else. Like kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, like things that I would never do, that person could do, and it would be not only not embarrassing, but like very freeing. So I don't know exactly when that was, but it was like a moment of discovering like kind of a portal into another way of living that felt much more free and less inhibited and very, very, very fun. So, yeah, whenever I realized that it was fun, which was probably somewhere in middle school.
And I want to ask you also, if you had a magic wand, you can be on any show, any TV show or whatever, theater. Uh, what would you want to do?
Let's see. Well, if I had a magic wand, I would let there be production on things right now. Number one. And I think it would be something like I don't know if I would point to a specific show that's already in production, but like something with a tight cast. I always love like these amazing ensemble shows. Like I'm really drawn to ensemble, like strong ensemble shows. That goes for theater too, I think. And I love like seeing a good repertory theater, like company, like a good company that just is like locked in. It's like watching a good band perform when you're like, wow, these people are like locked in, and they have clearly been just working on this stuff together and like just sinking their teeth in. Like there's nothing better than that to me. So I love like, for example, just because it's fresh in my mind, like Arrested Development. Like right now I'm assistant directing this series of short plays by Joy Behar, and I have been working with the wonderful Brenda Vaccaro, and she's very close with um, Jessica Walter, who I love on Arrested Development. She's so locked into that character, Lucille Bluth, and like just everything she does is like so razor sharp, like precise. Like I love the precision of those shows where it's you can just tell like the cast. I don't know, anything with like a strong like ensemble that I love the family feeling of things. Like if I'll say when we shoot Tech Betties, like just I would look forward to just like being with that group and just hanging out and then working, like, and that's so fun, like especially with something that's like comedic material, and even not like, I don't know, another show that I'll think of that I, of course, like The Office, like just the familial feeling of like that group of people, and like with all of the great shows of ensemble, like really strong ensembles, like that's what I want to be a part of. I think it's so beautiful, in the work, the caliber of work that you can get out of a relationship like that is just next level.
Oh, definitely. Like it has to gel. You all have to connect, and so that everyone can believe it's real, that you all know each other and this is really your dynamic together. And
Yeah.
it definitely makes it more fun to
Oh,
be on a
so much.
be on a set or on a stage with a group of people who you do feel like are kind of like a family together. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And like with any project, you know this obviously, but like with any project, you become a family with that group for that allotted amount of time,
Yeah.
even if it's a short shoot. But I mean, just to be able to like lock in and shoot something for several years, that's my dream. And not just because of the stability of the work, but also, yes, because the stability of the work, like you can just kind of focus like on what you're doing, and you can feel like you can trust the people around you, which just like takes the work to the next level. And that's just my dream. I love, like, you know, it's like anything, like you want to be able to feel like you can lean on your friends and like they have your back. Like you want to feel like you can lean on your cast members and the technical team, and that they like have your back, and so that you're just freed to do good work. That's, I don't really care what it is. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, yeah, I care. It has to be like good writing and like, but like, and like people like who are talented. But I mean, to have a great family that where you feel like you can fail, that's important.
So the last question is if you have anything you want to share about something you're working on, or just really whatever, that you want people to know.
Well, the cool thing that's been happening recently is that series of short plays by Joy Behar, which has been, I'm not acting in that, I'm assistant directing. So really it's an opportunity for me to watch all of these incredible actors acting. It's like insane. It's like,
Is it going to be online, or is it something people could go see somewhere?
Yeah, it's through Guildhall, John Drew Theater at Guildhall, which is out in the Hamptons, and it's all, you know, digital, virtual, of course.
Okay.
But Joy wrote these incredibly funny plays. I mean, she's hilarious, and they're these like short little packages of kind of explosive, very disrespectful, very irreverent, which is, of course, Joy's brand, like plays with some incredible actors. It's thrilling, and to be able to watch them and just be able to laugh, like, wow.
Anne, thank you so much for doing this, and for playing Bailey, part of this show. And
it's been such a pleasure. Yeah, I'm super proud to be a part of this show, and I think it's such a fun, I feel like the cast is a cast that I want to be a part of, like, long term, and it's exciting, like, to be doing this. And
I mean, hopefully someone will be like, we got to get this show on the air somewhere, or on streaming, meaning the air, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we just gotta find a place. We'll find a place. It'll be fun.
Yeah, there's a home for this show for sure. Like, and I can't wait to see the new rewrites that you've done and everything.
Yeah.